So I'm not a local to these areas, as you can tell by the accent. So I grew up in Northern Ireland, had a really great upbringing, fabulous really. Very loving, close-knit family. Like, I mean, here's my understanding of how it usually plays out for somebody like me. Coming from Northern Ireland, reasonably well educated, you end up going to a university in England or Scotland. You get your degree, you maybe start a job, but at some point the magnetic field of home starts drawing you back in. Fucking tractor beam starts grabbing on. I sort of came over to England then in 2013, like that sort of phrase that you know, you only move as far as you can see. That's literally what I was doing. It was move as far as you can see, and it was actually to move away from pain. I was influenced to go and study medicine to become a doctor. And that wasn't going to work. So, you know, that was me effectively wasting 2.5 years of my life trying to do something that was completely like 180 degrees away from my purpose. So painful at the time, lost direction for about a 3 to 4 year period in my life, but absolutely necessary in the grand scheme of things. You look back at that chapter, it was necessary. Any good movie, that's the way it starts, with a bit of pain within the first 8 minutes. If you were making a movie, you would see that pain happen quickly. What took me along that path was limiting beliefs by other people. So literally at the age of 15, 16, 17, you've got good grades. People like you usually become a lawyer, a dentist, a doctor, or something of that nature. So obviously, like, you look at that, and because you've been conditioned for the previous 11 years of education that there is a linear route through your life, you have to choose one. You know, can't not go to university and take 2 years out to actually discover what you like. Can't do that because there's not enough fucking money in the world. So you need to get into education really quickly, from a good university, earn a good job, earn 50 grand a year for the rest of your life. Because there's not enough money and you need to get that, and that's where it all stems from. But yeah, that was shambolic. Like, there was nothing about that I resonated with or connected with, apart from the fact there was an overwhelmingly large amount of information that you had to learn and be able to memorize and recite on tap. That was the only bit about it. This is a challenge academically. So I done chemical engineering then after, you know, effectively failing medical school, and they asked me to leave. They did help me get into that degree, that chemical engineering degree. Now, because of the pain and the open wound, if you can imagine, at that time, I was unable to give the best version of myself to that. But somehow I did manage to scrape through and get a degree out of that, meet some really decent people and learn some great lessons, and actually see a completely alternative route forward. And then this is where the great thing about the universe kicks in. I'd applied for a job in England 7 months prior, and I'd never even got an email back to say, yeah, we've received your application. So this letter comes in through the post. Yeah, we'd like you to come over for an interview in England. Something inside me was just like, yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go and at least see. They're selling exhaust gas analysers for the automotive industry. And one of the requirements is it's a mix of chemical engineering, physics, mathematics, and sales. Now, obviously, when they say the word sales, I'm shitting myself, because my understanding of sales to that point is a used car salesman. Like somebody trying to sell snake oil, trying to scam, dishonesty. So I'm like, again, I love all the other stuff you're saying, but the sales bit, like, can we just keep that away, or I don't want to do that. So I'm almost 3 years into this job. I still don't like the fact that people refer to me as a salesperson. And I still don't like that element of it. I'm doing it because it's been disguised as you're helping somebody solve a technical challenge. So I'm happy as Larry as long as I can do that. The fact that I have to put numbers in a quote and give it to somebody and ask them for money, I'm less happy about, but the art of selling is still way, way over there. So sales trainer comes into that business and he introduces, he basically comes in and introduces what he describes as the bleeding obvious, which is, so you would like to make money, yeah. You would like to increase your net take-home pay, yeah. In order to do that, you need to help the business sell more things. Yeah. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's apply engineering logic. Let's apply value selling. Let's actually dig into what motivates people to make buying decisions. So he trained a group of us. He took us for 3 days. And at the end of the 3 days, I was sat there going, fuck me, I'm not doing any of this. Like, not even one bit of it. And he was like, look, don't worry, you can't unlearn this stuff now. He combined academic sort of training sessions with live coaching, with debriefing, with strategic thinking, with just massive amounts of humility. And he still is always at me about make sure you sort your income. It's all about income. What are you doing? What's your number? What do you need to do? But it was always about delivering value. So that quickly took me from middle of the road player to probably the guy that if you wanted stuff to get done in that business, that would have been me. And effectively what was happening during that time frame is I was crossing the bridge of somebody that was shit scared and had like fear about being known as a salesperson. The whole time over that time horizon, I was crossing that bridge to the point where come middle of 2017, I was like, this is sort of what I want to pursue now. Because as long as you have the ability to create value, communicate it, have credibility even in the face of objections, nobody will ever be able to convince me that you can't go and sell to anyone at any amount of money. I started to think, you've been doing this sales thing a while, you've accrued a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. You could probably do this on a contracting basis and maybe serve more than one client. You could even, dare we even dream, you could have your own business. But whilst this is all happening, my perspective of what is available to me for growth is continually expanding. So all of this work that I've got to date has been through people I know. So the shift then that starts in early 23 is, well, how can you put yourself out there and get your message out there? From the point of nobody knows you to let's have a conversation, let's do some business. So I realized that this has to happen now, or I don't have a business. All I have is effectively a PAYE job with a couple of accounts with none of the benefits and all of the risk. As I'm telling you this, you can see the power of the universe. It's putting you in front of people that are going to help you, because you're living in a reasonably good level of non-resistance. There's still resistance around money, scarcity, all this shit is going on. But because you're meeting these people and in these environments, it massively dampens it down. We move into 2024, the opportunities are coming thick and fast. And that's why we're sat here today doing this stuff. Like we got to get the message out. We got to tell the story, get the message out to serve people. Because if it doesn't go out, we're not fulfilling what the universe wants us to do. My desire is to help people come into work on a Monday morning and not be in a state of anxiousness and fear around where the next paycheck or where the next contract's going to come from. It took me a long time to realize that was what it was really about. Like, how can we equip and change the trajectory of people's lives for the better, specifically anybody that comes from an engineering background, a manufacturing background, quite frankly anything where their upbringing and their education pre-career has all been around consumption, knowledge and mastery of anything technical, which is fantastic because I was one of those people, but at some point then in life it comes around, slaps you around the face, and you need to pay bills, you need to provide for your family. Nothing pains me as much as seeing somebody of this archetype with, the idea that's groundbreaking, the business that's groundbreaking, making a massive difference, not being able to effectively expand out and not being able to, command the fees that they're worth, construct the offers that really get the most for their clients, and more importantly, brings joy, peace, love and happiness back into every aspect of their lives. Well, that's an excellent question. Fucking good question there. Final disruptive thought. So there's a lot of people going to be watching this thinking, I get what he's saying, I like the story, I like the approach, but, big but, we've tried trainers, consultants, coaches, mentors in the past. It doesn't work. And I totally get that, I totally respect that, because a lot of the people I work with, they've been effectively burnt or had a bad experience in the past. The disruptive thought I'd ask them to sit with is, it's actually a question, and the question is, two parts to the question. Rate the quality of your life at the minute on a scale of 0 to 10, and you're not allowed to use 7 because it's a danger number. If it's not 8 or above, because it should be 8 or above in my opinion, then the second part is ask yourself the question, what are the short, mid and long-term effects on those around you that love and depend on you if you don't do something about it?